Good morning. Good morning, he said. Good morning, and how are you? And welcome into the program. What a program it will be today. It's about as good a show as you can have when you have no guests. No need for Monday guests during this time of year. You're going to have sports equinoxes all over the place. We had baseball, basketball, football, soccer, hockey. Had everything going yesterday. And that was all in Los Angeles. Everyone's making a huge deal about that. The sports equinox in L.A. They started out. The most impressive thing about that is they had I'm always impressed by this, Kyle. They had a hockey game and an NBA game at Staples Center on the same day.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's always crazy when you think about that.
It's almost like L.A. has a lot of sports teams, and this is a time of year where all those sports overlap.
Yeah.
It's almost like that.
It's crazy. They had MLS soccer. The Galaxy played there.
I also thought it was interesting that on the graphic they showed during the Packers game.
Yeah.
They showed a graphic. I guess maybe it was on Fox pregame, but all the sports going on in LA, and they included the Sharks at the Ducks in Anaheim.
Yeah. That's the greater area, but I think they said something like take the soccer out of it and that Sharks game out of it. I think they had all four sports playing in one county at the same time.
That's incredible.
Traffic was, I'm sure, incredible. Traffic was, I'm sure, amazing.
Well, yeah, and LA is known for having
real
roads conducive to limiting traffic.
What a weekend. And we're going to talk heavy Kings today because that's what we do when the Sacramento Kings are at 500. Kind of sucked. That's kind of crappy with all the lameness the Kings have been going through over the last God knows how many years. There's finally a tiny, an eensy bit of excitement, and they win a home game against the Wizards to go to 500 on a Friday, and then we're not on the air until Monday.
And then they don't play over the weekend.
And they don't play over the weekend at all. Nah. Which, in a sense, I was thinking last night, I was like, God, why can't you just play a game? This sucks. And then I thought about it, I was like, there's plenty of other stuff going on this weekend. I don't have to choose between the games or watch them on separate monitors or something. I can devote my full attention tonight. And I love the fact that it's an early game. It's 4 o'clock. Great.
4:30.
4:30.
4:30 tip. 4 o'clock Kings Live starts right here on KHTK.
Thank you, Kyle.
Welcome. Hey, I'm not the one that got the time wrong.
I say it starts at 4 o'clock. Of course I'm talking about the pregame. Everyone knows that but you. You are, well, actually, guy, in real life.
That's not necessarily true.
You were like that with the beard thing.
You were really excited for the Kings game because it was a 4 o'clock start. You said the Kings game. You did not say Kings pregame.
Forgive me, but I look at what our colleagues do on the pregame, and I consider that a part of the game itself, Kyle. I'm sorry.
You don't feel that way. I absolutely do not.
That to me is
because
part of
I
the
have
game.
been involved in producing pregame shows before.
Yeah.
And that would mean I am on the team.
Yeah. If the Kings win a championship, they might probably get rings. Yeah, part of the team.
Okay.
I don't think they would. They might.
Hey, cool shirt.
Hey, I'm wearing your shirt. Yeah.
Well, you're wearing your shirt.
Well, the shirt you got me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just didn't want people thinking we traded clothes or something.
That'd be weird.
That'd be really weird.
Why is there a wig?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I haven't decided what I'm dressing up for on Halloween yet.
You had nothing to do with this?
No, that's not me.
Why is this?
I promise. This is not a bit. I have no idea what that is.
I'll save that. That's a visual bit, but there is a rainbow-colored wig that was left on my...
Yep. Oh, this is going to be good.
Got to do it, right?
Yeah, KHTK.com. You can watch the video stream, and you can watch Dave in this. Okay, so here's the problem.
Yeah?
Not a problem. Here's the thing.
Yeah?
That suits you.
Oh, really? It's like normal?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, you don't look bad, and I think that's the problem.
I'm wearing a rainbow clown wig, and I don't look bad. I feel like that's an insult.
Hmm.
I feel this is like I I feel like I'm Circus Habib Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this is kind of his deal. If it wasn't for all this fake hair in my face, I'd probably wear this for a while.
Yeah. Do you have like a hair tie? You could tie it back.
Like a ponytail?
Yeah.
We'll get to that. I haven't decided either, Kyle. And we do have to come dressed up on what is it, Wednesday?
Hey, so we have this all staff meeting too.
Uh-huh. I know.
Are we cruising in?
Yes.
Fully
I already
costumed?
told him about it.
Okay, now you're not. I need to. I want to. I want you to do me the courtesy of catching the bit beforehand, and letting me know. Are you gonna do a thing where you're gonna be like, "Yeah, we're dressing up," and then I dress up and you don't?
That's a great idea, but no,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
No.
Just wanted to make sure.
No, I will be dressing up. I just don't know. We have to because we're on video now. But
I'm either gonna be a Toon Squad player. I'm gonna be Bugs Bunny
okay.
from Space Jam, or I'm going to be an avocado.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Like they have avocado costumes that you just slide on and you're an avocado.
What would be the possible reason why it wouldn't be an avocado?
The price of the avocado costume,
is it,
mostly.
Is it really?
Yeah, we'll see. I recently learned that perhaps the price I saw was not the correct one, so we'll see.
I feel you in the sense that I really wanted to do the T-Rex thing this year.
The inflatable one?
Yep.
Oh, please do.
But
everything that happens in those costumes is funny.
I agree.
And if you rolled into the meeting in that costume and just popped a squat,
and just sat,
it would be the funniest thing that's ever happened at this radio station.
Here's the deal. There's 2 deals here. Or 3 deals. Number 1, because I was ready to go. I was ready to hit purchase on Friday. Number 1, it's $75. But I could have fun with that outside
think you could get multiple
of Halloween.
use.
Yes,
yeah,
I agree.
For sure.
I would love to do things where we're just doing the show and then somebody in promotions comes in a T-Rex costume and just kind of walks behind us.
That would be so funny.
Number 2, in reading the reviews, the costume is very, very hot. And I don't just mean good looking, but it's actually really, really
I can imagine
hot in
so.
there because it's inflatable.
Right, and it has to be sturdy.
And it has to be sturdy, and apparently there's elastic on the wrists and the legs.
Right.
And by the way, more than enough reviews that I read on Amazon about this costume that went into great detail about how air can't escape. Yeah.
Oh, and you have a lot of air escaping.
I didn't need to know that, and that's a big deal. And then finally, so you sweat, costs a lot, it's tough to get into. And then also, I'm 6'4". That's like the limit. So it has to stay inflated the whole time. I don't know how I want to do the whole show in my costume. And in a perfect world, I want to do the whole show in a T-Rex costume.
Yeah.
But I don't think because it's inflatable, I think the part you can see out of, I don't think that has a hole that you can speak through. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Your voice would be muffled.
Right, and I can't do that.
Right.
Sorry, I mean, you got to have some sort of respect for the listener.
Right.
So we'll see. Any last thing, there was the idea I thought of you and I coming in some sort of a tandem.
Yeah, that's what I thought we were doing the whole time. And then I was alerted the Friday that was not the case.
Who alerted you to that?
You.
What'd I say?
When I said, what are we dressing up as? Or are we doing something together? And you were like, no.
You asked me that?
Yeah.
I have no recollection of that. Was I listening?
Probably not.
Did you text it?
Yeah.
Oh. All right, we'll take a break while Kyle looks up his text. When we get back, let's do some Morning Brew. We have a World Series champion. We have somebody has a left shark costume you can borrow.
I said, what are we dressing up as? And you said, it's a surprise.
Oh, well, that's not, you set that, this is where you're disingenuous. You set that up. That's not, are we dressing up as something together? You asked an innocuous question, and my answer told you that we weren't being the same thing.
Yeah.
But that's not what you asked.
That's how I read that.
Oh,
So
no.
what are we dressing up as? What are you and I dressing up
I
as?
did not read it that way. I thought
What
you
are
meant
me and you?
like the royal we.
What are you and I
The
dressing
royal,
up as?
like, hey, what are we dressing up? I don't know. I didn't mean that like we can't.
Oh, okay. I thought you had something in mind already, and you were not making me privy to it.
So far, I have a clown wig. That's my outfit. That's
You're crushing it, by the way.
Thank you. We'll take a break. I can't wear this anymore. All right, Morning Brew is next. Let's get started. Big Fat Harry show for you today. A 500 Kings team, a World Series champion, and crappy Bay Area football. It's all coming up next right here on Sports 1140 KHTK.
It's time for the Morning Brew. Now here's Carmichael Dave.
2-2. High fly ball into left. Back at the wall. It is gone. Betts has made it 3-1.
Oh, nice to see you, Mookie Betts. Thanks for showing up. Better late than never, I guess. The Boston Red Sox defeat the LA Dodgers 5-1. After a doubleheader the other night. A doubleheader. 18 innings in a World Series. Was it 3:30 in the morning East Coast time when that thing ended?
It's so funny in those games because when you get to the bottom of the inning, like it can end on one pitch. That's what we saw. I left where I was at after the bottom of the 17th, and I was like, great, I'll be home in like 6 or 7 minutes, and I'll be able to watch the end of the game. Got home, fired up the TV, and it was over.
It was over.
It's like, what in the...
That's what happens. And by the way,
I just watched this game for 6 hours.
If you
I
really
missed the end.
if you really want to be narcissistic about it, you should probably consider the fact that had you stayed where you were, it would have likely gone more than 18 innings.
That's a great point. So you all are welcome.
Yeah, Kyle Madson ended it all.
Yeah.
And the Boston Red Sox almost swept. It took the Dodgers 18 innings at home to get a win. They almost swept the Dodgers.
Cool moment for Max Muncy, though, because he almost ended it in, the 12th or 13th or whatever?
Yeah.
With the near foul ball. So good for him.
Good for him.
And good for the Dodger fans. They got to win.
4 earned for Clayton Kershaw in 7 innings. That ERA, a busty 7.36. I really want
to playoff ERA is over 4.
This is one place where social media really hurts the show because I want to come on the air today and just be brutal. In fact, I was really considering last night calling different LA places today and just asking them if they knew who won the World Series, that type of thing. But then I've been so brutal on social media all weekend, just talking smack about the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel magnanimous today.
It's reached a point for me anyways on social media with who I follow and who I the prominent people on my timeline. It's reached a point for me that I honestly think that Giants fans like the Dodgers losing more than they like the Giants winning.
That's stupid.
That's where it's reached. That's
stupid. Come on. I will allow for this. Here's order of how I wanted this season to end. Number 1, Giants win the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, A's win the World Series. I would have loved to have seen that. Truly, I would have. Number 3, Dodgers lose the World Series.
Number 3, A's beat Dodgers in World Series.
Okay, that's number 2 then. That's number 2. Okay, that's ahead. Okay, that's ahead. Number 4 then. Yeah, Dodgers lose. Of course, seeing an LA team, especially your rival, lose.
It was just like...
Just being able to hammer them.
And watching the greater baseball population, like, battle with not really liking the Dodgers and not really liking the Red Sox.
I can't stand the Red Sox, dude.
They're the worst.
I can't stand the Red Sox.
That being said, as a person who just, and anybody listening who's a baseball fan, you see this Red Sox team, and they're incredible.
They are.
Like, they've been incredible since the first day of the year.
Best team won it. Bottom line.
That's it. That's what it comes down to. And like I said a couple weeks ago, I think we're going to look at this. We're going to look back at this Red Sox team in 10, 15, 20 years. Mm-hmm. Like, that was a historically great team.
We'll get back into this in about 10 minutes. And the question I'll have for you is, to that point about Giants and Dodger fans, is there a rival for the A's that you would root against anywhere close to the Dodgers and Giants? We'll talk about that in 10 minutes. Number 2.
hands grabbed by Justin Jackson. It was Fox who knocked it away. Fox shovels to the belly. Oh, I thought he was going to shoot a 30-footer. Inside, he finds a hard-cutting, Buddy Buckets for the layup. What a find by Bielitsa. And Belly is quickly becoming a hero among Kings fans.
He is. And we might already found our 3-and-D guy. Might be Nemanja Bielitsa. You kidding me? That was a great performance by him Friday night. 36 minutes, 26 points, 6 3-pointers. He had a block in there, 12 boards, 3 assists. I'll take that. Kyle, if he can average that every game, I think we found ourselves a guy that when Bogey comes back, we can move him back and forth. We're good.
Well, they're doing the little things differently so far this year that they weren't doing last year, where instead of taking a 3, they find a wide open cutter for an easy layup.
Yep.
They are taking stops on defense and getting out in transition and running and getting an easy bucket. They're just doing little things that they frustratingly didn't do last season.
I saw during that game at least 2 different instances where I was like, oh, take the shot, dude. You don't need that extra pass. And I stopped and I went, I'm actually okay with that right now. Yeah. Make the extra pass.
Yeah, you would rather that extra pass at this point turn into a turnover at this point in the Kings' development.
Right.
Because that extra pass is going to be very important down the road.
Rather than playing hero ball, which is what they generally default to. All right, well, Kings beat the Wizards. We've got more on that, including, finally, lucky for you, there's a Kings game tonight, as a matter of fact. They will be in Miami. We'll talk about that in a few. Number 3.
Luck goes out of the shotgun. Has a running back to his left. That's Marlon Mack. Luck. Hands off. No, he play action. Throws upfield to Jack Doyle. He catches the football at the 5. Diving for the pylon. Touchdown! Touchdown, Jack Doyle, 10 yards away, and the Colts have the lead.
I hope Raider fan maybe left wherever they were watching the game after the third quarter, and that's how the game ended for them. Raiders win. Because that fourth quarter, and the defense decided to go watch a movie. 21-0 Colts. 42-28 is your final. Also, down in the Valley of the Sun, the Cardinals beat the 49ers 18-15 in what was maybe the game of the day. I mean, we don't have enough time to talk about it. We got to take a break, Kyle. But that Cardinals-Niners game, probably game of the day. It was entertaining from start to finish. Offensive fireworks. Sometimes 2 teams play each other, and you look at them playing, you go, this could be the Super Bowl. And unfortunately, it won't because they're both in the NFC, obviously. But you saw high-level football the entire day.
Totally.
So amazing. Like your Niners Wire articles are probably like, heartbreak in Arizona. Will that cost us a title?
Uh-huh.
Especially liked it when it was, 5-2 at one point? 5-3?
5-3. 2-0, 3-2, 5-3.
We'll take a break. Unfortunately, we'll be talking about that at 6:45. Probably more about the Raiders than the Niners in this case. When we get back, though, World Series, I want to ask you about that rivalry, though, with the Oakland A's. What would be, or is there an equivalent to Giants-Dodgers in that situation? And we'll get into the World Champions as well. Your, not mine, your Boston Red Sox. The drive continues in 4. Sports 1140 KHTK.
Hey, this is Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Kings are back in action tonight, kicking off a 4-game road trip down in Miami. Sacramento enters the game at 3-3, while the Heat come in at 3-2. Our coverage begins with game night at 3 o'clock. Pre-game is at 4 o'clock, and tip-off is set for 4:30 right here on KHTK. The Raiders led the Colts 28-21 going into the fourth quarter yesterday, but lost 42-28 as Andrew Luck and the Colts ripped off 21 consecutive fourth quarter points. Oakland is now 1-6. The 49ers losing streak is now at 6 after an 18-15 loss to the Cardinals yesterday in Arizona. San Francisco led by 12 in the fourth quarter, but 15 unanswered points by the Cardinals lifted them to the victory. The 49ers now sit at 1-7. David Price allowed 3 hits and a run across 7 innings, while Clayton Kershaw allowed 4 runs on 3 Red Sox home runs in 7 innings as Boston cruised to their 4th World Series title in the last 15 years. They beat the Dodgers 4-1 in that best-of-7 series. Steve Pearce was the MVP for Boston. He hit .333 in the series with 3 homers and 8 runs driven in. L.A. has now gone 30 years without a title. And in hockey, the Sharks beat the Ducks 4-3 in overtime down in Anaheim last night. Timo Meier had 2 goals for the Sharks, including the game winner in the extra period. Those are your top stories, and now it's time for The Drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Here we go. The drive continues now.
From the top on down, here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series. 5-1 the final tonight. And the best team in baseball wins it all in 2018.
Machado pinwheels the bat. Nobody on base, 2 men out. Bottom of the ninth, 5-1 Red Sox. Sale winds, he fires. Swing and a miss, strike 3, it's over. The Red Sox have won the World Championship.
How perfect was it that Vontez Machado ends up being the final out?
And he looked really silly doing it.
He really did.
And it's just a testament to how good this Red Sox team is that to get their last 3 outs, they could just turn to Chris Sale.
Yeah.
Like, here, go get those 3 outs.
One out of the pen, Chris Sale.
Good luck, Dodgers.
Yeah, Machado looked really bad. Ended up on his knees. Whoosh.
Yeah, just that sweeping slider down and in. Like, there's no chance.
No chance.
You're gearing up for 94, 95, and you get that slider down over your shoe tops, you got nothing.
How much did Manny Machado? He didn't lose any money. How much respect did he lose in this playoff run?
A lot.
That's bad.
The narrative was already there with him as a dirty player, but there's so much baseball that until you really witness it, you kind of just take it with a grain of salt. But on this national stage, to have multiple plays where it's like, that's just a dirty play. Like, there's no debating this. That is just a dirty play. Yeah, I think his reputation took a big hit, and I don't think he's reached that level of there's no going back. Like, there's nothing Manny Machado is ever going to do to have the full respect of the greater baseball community.
Nope. Let me ask you this. I purposely didn't talk about this over the weekend. I want to save it for the show. You know, in arena softball, and maybe in other softballs, I don't know, they have 2 first base bags. They have the bag the first baseman stands on.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have an orange bag next to it, to the right of it. And that's the bag. It's actually a rule. You can't touch, if you're a batter, you can't touch the white part of the bag. You have to touch the orange part of the bag. So my question to you is this. Go ahead.
Well, actually.
Well, actually. I got to get a well, actually button.
Yeah, you do. We
really
definitely do. Do you want me to just say, well, actually, so we can isolate it?
I want to get like the jingle singers to do it or something. Whoa, jeez.
Wow.
That's a loud bell. Well, actually, Kyle, go ahead.
You touch whichever part of the bag is safest for you to touch. So for some reason,
not an arena softball, pal.
If for some reason the throw takes the first baseman kind of backwards onto the orange bag, the runner doesn't have to collide with the first baseman. You go to the safer bag.
In the old arena softball in Roseville, if you touch the white part of the bag, you're out. You're out.
I have a hard time believing that.
Call him.
It's a situation that doesn't arise very often.
That is true.
But if you have a first baseman who, like I said, the throw kind of sails back and they have to step backwards, I doubt they're going to penalize the runner for not avoiding a
I don't know that
collision.
I've ever seen that. I do know I've seen somebody called out for going straight through. Well,
and that's
I
fair.
saw
I mean,
a
that's
warning
fair.
and then an out.
That I can see.
So here's my question. Well, actually, guy, what is the downside of Major League Baseball adopting that?
I don't know.
I feel like there is because it seems too obvious.
I think maybe there would be some sort of thought that the runner has to go X amount of extra distance or whatever, and so now a bang bang play is suddenly, is suddenly an out because the runner had to go X amount of distance extra or whatever.
Yeah,
you're making plays at first easier for the catcher.
You couldn't straddle the bat, which I mean, I'm also fine with that too. When you've got when the catcher, right-handed catcher, has to somehow get it around.
Here's the thing though is, I think that would be pretty reactionary because there's a handful of times that it really becomes an issue.
Mm-hmm.
That I think that's a relatively large change. And I'm not necessarily against it because, like you said, it makes a lot of sense, but I think if baseball did that, it would come across as very reactionary, and you're going to alienate a lot of people who are already worried about the game being changed too much.
I mean,
what are you going to do next? Put skirts on the players?
Yeah, right. You can't straddle the bags on the first baseline because you're moving the first base bag more towards third and short and second. So some metric will show.
And then you get the issue where, okay, drop third strike, the first baseman has to get to the outside portion of the bag.
Right.
Now he's tripping over himself because there's an extra bag there. And
I guess.
I personally wouldn't be against it, but I'm trying to point out all the reasons.
No. That's what I asked you to do. You mentioned about the Giants fans taking so much happiness out of the Dodgers losing, and I found myself wondering because
did you see the Giants on NBCS or NBCS Giants?
I sure did.
Oh, that's really fantastic.
Oh, it was just
really
amazing
excellent.
trolling by them. Where they what was the tweet? Was it was it the participation trophy?
Congrats to the Dodgers on another World Series appearance. And it's Puig and Kershaw holding like participation trophies while Bumgarner and Posey sit in the back with on their couches with an MVP award and a World Series trophy.
The best part was were the replies. There were just
so many. Oh, you want to talk about history? Meh.
I mean, listen, to be fair, if it was the Giants that lost or the Kings that lost or any of my teams, I would just block people. I wouldn't be able to take it. I couldn't handle it.
Dude,
I would get rid of everybody.
My block list was probably 30 people long, and then the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead in the finals, and now my block list is 300 people long.
Right. Yeah. But that's a part of that's fun. That's part of the fun. Yeah, my Giants aren't in it. They suck. But to see it, since 2010, I've gotten to see 3 world championships for my team, and 2 years in a row, the Dodgers losing in the World Series. That is awesome. So there's all this smack talk over the weirdest part, though, of all the smack talk that I saw is I saw like a tiny percentage, but it was enough to where it was more than like a handful of people, maybe like 10 people I saw, A's fans that were rolling up and be like, "What are you guys talking about? What are you talking about? What's that?"
I follow this kid. I'm going to call him a kid because that's effectively what he is on the internet.
Yeah.
Who was very angry about the Sharks saying like, "Oh, hey, hashtag beat LA."
Right.
Like after that. And he's like, "Wow, way to support the 73 and 89 team." It's like, what? You're mad about that?
A's fans are unique, dude. They're so unique. They
You're
really
taking
are.
that as a slight?
Really are. It's like it's the Dodgers and Giants rivalry. On top of that, you have
an A's fan is getting offended by it.
How is because A's fan gets offended about everything?
Dennis Eckersley threw out a first pitch to Kirk Gibson at Dodger Stadium yesterday.
They sat together to go celebrate.
They sat together. You can get over the smack talk.
But even if you can't, Giants fans we're both going after the Dodgers. The Dodgers who broke your heart. The Dodgers. We're on the same field. What are you coming at Giants fan for? Defending Dodger fan?
I got nothing.
I know, because you're a normal guy. But there's this it's like Dodger fan and Giant fan are having this argument at the adults table, right? And then A's fan pulls up in his jalopy. He's like, hey. Like 2 fistfuls, a couple of 40s in each hand. Hey, guess what? 1989, we swept you. Remember that? Ha ha ha.
Maybe it's because I was not alive when the Giants and A's played in the World Series. But I just don't like. I have my issues with the Giants, but it's not to the point that I would, like you said, I'm gonna go jump in on their smack talk. That's weird.
No, why would you? But is there an equivalent team for the A's? I would think it would be the Dodgers. But is there an equivalent team for the A's that you would as actively root against as Giants fans do for the Dodgers?
For me, probably the Angels. I really have a deep disdain for the Angels. But I think that's more of a personal thing. I don't think that probably goes for A's fans. And I think if you were to poll A's fans, I think that you would get just a lot of bitterness and they hate every team. But I think the Angels would be up there for me.
But that, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's not the universal, like if I polled 100 A's fans.
Yeah, if you polled 100 Giants fans, you said, who's your biggest rival?
It's the Dodgers.
Dodgers. 100 out of 100, and that's it. if you polled A's fans, you might get 10 teams.
Okay, so just to be fair, there's not that there's
Not
no
even
Dodgers.
not I wouldn't even say it's necessarily close.
I got you. That's what I thought. I just want to make sure, but
yeah, because
they
didn't really have that in Philly. They didn't, obviously not in Kansas City.
Sure.
And since coming to Oakland, there's not been that.
Yeah.
Like just regular foil that. You know.
Well, either way, we got a lot more. We talked about Machado. We'll have to talk about Clayton Kershaw too at some point when we get back. Speaking of the Bay Area, man, I can't wait for Thursday. Well, Thursday night football.
It's going to be really funny.
Woo!
I want to actually get into the dynamic of that Niner Raiders game because it's been really funny watching the smack talk start. Because it's a lot of both fan bases have just accepted it. They're just like, hey, you guys want to like maybe hang out and
right
root against each other's teams for the number one pick?
Pretty much like my root for the Raiders.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with my hands. We'll take a break. Back with football. It's Sports 1140 KHTK.
The drive continues now.
Remember this day, because you're not going to forget the name, Cameron Champ. This is a first-time champ on the PGA Tour, and it's not going to be the last time.
How about that? Congratulations. Cam Champ, what a name, too. What a name. Your last name's Champ, and you become a professional athlete. Local kid, right here in the 916. Good for him. First PGA Tour victory. I mean, he hasn't even gotten the new card smell off his PGA Tour card. And bam. He's already a champion. Good for him. We'll try to get him on at some point. We reached out to try to get Cameron on yesterday for today. I would hope he is, celebrating, perhaps traveling, perhaps trying to find a way. These new PGA Tour winners. What do I do with the big fat check? It's in the back of his car. He had to rent a convertible to drive it home. Must be tough. Can you imagine walking into the bank with one of those? Like to make a deposit, please. Like, what do you do? You sign the back of it. You have to turn it in.
To sign the back of it with like a paint roller.
That would be great if PGA did that just to screw with rookies.
Like, here's the actual check.
Literally the check, dude. It's real.
It's legal.
Yeah,
there's not a bank that would produce.
I was
that.
just thinking. I was just trying to run that through my head. Like, could you actually make that legal tender?
No.
I don't think you could. Imagine having to rip it up after it's cashed.
Yeah, need a really big paper shredder.
Or you got to get on a ladder to take your phone and do the thing where you can, on the apps now, you can take the picture of it to deposit it. You got to get on your roof.
You got to rent a ladder. One of those things called hang Christmas lights or fix power lines, cherry pickers.
I was on a ladder this weekend. Not first time I've been on a ladder in a long time. King's fans will remember that one, but nope, this is a different ladder scenario. I was on a ladder holding my daughter wanted a piñata for her birthday. We had a birthday party on Saturday, and Daddy was the piñata holder. I just want to say thank you to.
So you were going to say Daddy was a piñata?
No, well, kind of. Listen, you get 14, 11-year-olds running around the house.
Great point.
By the way, fathers of daughters, you warned me. I didn't listen, but 11, that's right when it starts. That's when the screaming happens. There is nothing more loud than 11-year-old screaming girls, and boy, did we had 12 girls and 2 boys at this party, and it was just a cacophony of needless screaming for 4 hours at my house. I would just like to thank, be it God or whatever higher power you believe in, for not having any of these kids hit in the face with my son's metal baseball bat, which was used for the piñata, and it was very close. Kids, they couldn't resist wanting to dive in for the piñata, so they'd get in early. And, you have another kid with a blindfold that's just blind swinging everywhere.
I have 2 things on this. One, that second bit, that's kind of on you.
The kids?
Yeah. Swinging, like the piñata, whose idea was this?
Oh, my daughter wanted it, and so my wife, of course, made it happen, Captain. That was her deal.
Okay,
Trust me.
that's on her though.
I wanted
that's
Chuck E. Cheese.
That's on.
I wanted John's Incredible. I wanted something like that.
That's an L for Melissa.
Thank you.
I think that's the first one she's ever caught on this show.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe on this show.
On this show. What was the other? What was the other thing we were talking about? Oh, the idea of the cacophony of 11-year-olds screaming makes my face hurt. Like just the idea of it pains me in the face.
I should have recorded. I should have actually brought in a tape.
Nope, that's okay.
Just so you could hear.
No, that's okay.
Should have live streamed it, but I respect the privacy of the children.
Hey, you know what we got?
What's that, Kyle?
We have a pair of tickets to see Jimmy Buffett and the Coral Reef Band at the Golden One Center on March 16th.
Hey.
Get more info at KHTK.com. All KHTK giveaways are powered by RooseveltAutomall.com. I have one pair of tickets that we're going to give away later in today's show.
What is the date on that?
March 16th.
March 16th. Hey, no lie.
You going?
I don't know if I'm going, but I would. For much of my life, I was like, Jimmy Buffett. But that's a Saturday night.
Jimmy Buffett, well-known restaurateur.
That's Jimmy Buffett.
Oh,
yeah.
See,
I would
that's
go.
God, always get him mixed up.
I would actually go. It's a Saturday night. I'll bet. Here's my question. I wonder if there's going to be any polo shirts there. I wonder if there's going to be any khakis.
I'm wondering if there's going to be polo shirts tucked into khakis with brown belts and flip-flops.
A lot of flip-flops. Wonder if there's going to be any Tommy Bahama gear that night.
Wonder if there's going to be anybody there who just doesn't see the reason for the NFL's celebrations.
I just don't get it. I mean, what's the deal?
That's going to be the opener. The opener is just a guy that comes out and just complains about stuff that people in their mid-40s complain about.
Puig should be banned for life. NFL celebrations, what's the deal? You can't defend in the NBA anymore.
What is it with this PC culture?
As I get older, though, I go, I'd watch Jimmy. I'd go. That'd be fun. Have a margarita, hang out.
Why would you have a margarita?
Because he's something in Margaritaville.
Huh?
That's the Jimmy Buffett song. Margaritaville? Isn't that Jimmy Buffett?
I don't know.
Wasting away again. Okay, God.
Because his restaurant is called Margaritaville, which is where this all started.
Okay. Well, see, with you lately, I don't know. I don't know with you. You make me
That's
question
what makes
myself.
the bit so fun.
I'm going because you turned into Well Actually guy.
I'm Well Actually guy.
Yeah.
Combined with guy who of guy who is severely lacking in pop culture knowledge, but then makes a bit out of not having pop culture knowledge on things that I do have the knowledge on. Man.
I'm going to start calling you Well Actually Kyle, which is whack. We'll take a break. Kings in Miami tonight. We'll talk about that next. Stay tuned. Don't go away. And, be careful with those piñatas. Helmets. Should have worn helmets. Damn it, I missed it. Right here on the drive. Sports Level. We should have worn helmets here. KHTK.